All right, think about this. You have the elites, in quotes, politicians and government employees, and even contractors for government, all have use of and control over everything, quote unquote, owned by the citizens. Okay, so what's citizen ownership? That's the publicly owned land, that's publicly owned buildings, that's publicly owned. You put it, fill in the blank. So that's the politicians in government employees. Primarily, the politicians have, all of it. They have absolute say. Then the government employees have a little less, but then they have a lot more than everyone else. The public has zero say, really, has nothing. That's it. Even though they're paying the taxes for everyone that works there, everyone that oversees the places there, everyone that has worked and built those buildings, or everyone who caretakes for the park or whatever it may be, or the animals, DNR, that kind of stuff, in their places, the public doesn't have rights to go there whenever they want. The public doesn't have rights to hold anything there. The public doesn't have rights to hang out there. I mean, the public only has a right to go there to do something, and usually it involves paying bills, paying fees, paying more and more and more to the government itself, to those politicians and those elites, and paying more for the salaries of those government employees. So why am I saying this? Well, Main Street, private citizens, just people everywhere have zero control, and zero actual ownership of anything owned by the citizens or the government or that's publicly owned. So how is that owned by the citizens? How is that owned by everybody else? How is that everyone's capital, everyone's building, everyone's, fill in the blank, everyone's park? If you don't have the okay to go there whenever you want and use it whenever you want, how is that the case? Well, because they say, because you pay taxes. Well, you get taxes stolen from you. You get these things that they call taxes. You get money stolen from you for this thing called taxes that pays for this and a whole bunch of other stuff, i.e. Ukraine, that kind of stuff. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back kind of deal. Politicians and bankers and that kind of stuff. And then, because that's how the stuff is acquired and built and maintained, supposedly that's why we have a right to it somehow, which we really don't. So I'm just going to list these a little bit and just get people thinking. Could you really walk into these and do whatever you want with any of these things? Really? Like employees can or politicians can. State and federal courthouses, state and federal prisons, correctional facilities, all their buildings and equipment, IRS buildings and equipment. How about CIA headquarters, all their CIA facilities, all their equipment. FBI headquarters, and all their CIA, and all their facilities, and all their buildings and equipment. How about the EPA headquarters, and all EPA facilities, and all their equipment? How about the Department of Natural Resources, all their buildings and equipment? How about DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, all their buildings, resources? The federal and state lotteries. Well, I don't like any of those. I think all those should go away. They're nothing but a large scam, a Ponzi on the society and the citizens, but that's just my take on that. But do you have the right to go in those buildings and things whenever you want? Government schools. K through 12 and more. Now, if you go back here 20 years ago, you could walk into a K through 12 school in a lot of states. Nowadays, and that was fine. I mean, that was great just to walk in to check on stuff, just to see. Maybe you have a granddaughter that goes there, or a niece or nephew, or you know somebody, you're friends with somebody that you just graduated from somewhere and they're in a different school. That was okay to do. Now, it's all under lock and key. It's amazingly difficult to do that. But it's owned by the citizens. It's a public building. So we got state troopers, local police, and all their buildings and equipment. Can you use any of that? Can you go anywhere? Whenever you want? We have all the armed forces to the banksters and politicians. All the armed forces, the things that do the banksters and politicians grunt work. All their buildings and equipment, do you have the right to any of that at all? How about the state and federal parks? How about the state and federal forests? I mean, these are just a few things. This is nothing. This isn't talking all the counties, all the towns, all the cities. This is just not even scratching the surface. This is just a particle of dust. Just touching this whole flawed deal of you and I, tax cattle, stuff that's stolen from us that they call taxes, have no rights to that whatsoever, but it's publicly owned, supposedly by you and I. So I didn't even mention salaries really, because without that stuff that's stolen from us, from the tax cattle, these people have nothing in their paychecks. They have no way of getting paid. They have no way of making a living doing what they're doing right now. So think about that. Think about that. That means that the ones that are sort of driving the bus are doing it when the people on the bus have all the control and all the power to make things right. If the person driving the bus is not going where they're supposed to be going or doing what they're supposed to be doing, because they're just an order follower. And people, individuals, humanity-based people, people who love one another and look out for what's best for one another, they're the ones that have the right. They're the ones that know what's best, and they're the ones that should be driving that bus. They're the ones that should call the shots. That's not the way it is, because those people don't want to tell other people what to do. The people who are not good, the people who tell other people what they should do. Anyways, this was a short video. Thanks for watching. If you like this, again, like, share, subscribe, hit that. And as always, stay vigilant, protect yourself, family, take the help, and protect your wealth.